Blue Lock, no joke, completely changed everything. As in this chapter, we get to see one of the England players, and he is crazy. By the way, it's not Chris Prince. I just used his picture, but to know more, you will have to wait. But trust me, there is a ton more stuff, so get ready. Alright, so starting off this chapter, also called Worthless Puppet. Here we can see the little gremlin just being out of his mind with anger as he looks furious and pissed off. He screams at someone, telling them that if they lose, then it's all over, asking the person if they have got that. We then move a bit away from his ugly face, where he then continues and says that he is running his Side B project behind the scenes, and he has poured a fortune into all this. If they lose again and don't make it to the knockout tournament, then all of this will go to waste. We then finally see who he was talking to, and it was none other than the absolute goat, Ego, who tells him to pipe down, explaining that none of this is unexpected. The gremlin is just super surprised about what that should mean, but Ego tells him that after fighting Nigeria and France, they have 1 win and 1 loss, looking super fierce as he tells Buratsuta that considering Japan's abilities, this is a perfectly natural outcome. We then sadly move back to the gremlin, who is pulling a very weird face. He tells Ego to listen, explaining to him that if he doesn't win this, then he will be banned from Japanese soccer, and calls him a brat. Ego, however, still stands his ground, steady as he tells the gremlin that his plan hasn't failed, telling him that he was hired to get Japan a World Cup victory, and that he wasn't contracted to make money. After that, I have no idea why Buratsuta seems to laugh, telling him that his contract stipulates that Sei won't join until he wins the group league, and he won't let him use the Side B winners until the knockout tournament. It really sounds like Buratsuta thought that he got Ego good, but I didn't think that it was such a good comeback. Ego has then had enough of the gremlin as he tells him to be silent and calls him a money-grubbing tanuki, telling him that this is the gamble that he started, asking if he doesn't just have to win, and with that, he walks away. Buratsuta seems rather annoyed by that, but he then soon gets a super creepy smile as he starts to laugh to himself and explains that he talks big, but that this isn't just his gamble. Now personally, I have literally no idea what Buratsuta is planning to do, but he is for sure planning something big, but my mind is blank at the moment. We then head to the Side B first stage Victor waiting area. Shindu says that he thinks they just need to wait in here for the other victors to show. Kira, behind him, thanks Shindu for picking him. Shindu looks back with a smug expression as he tells Kira that there are no absolutes in this world, telling Kira that he was his best choice to boost his odds of winning. Kira looks back at him and says that he is a clever guy, but not long after, the doors open and we see Nagi and Mizuki coming out, and Mizuki looks ecstatic. Mizuki screams out that they beat it, and that they are going to represent Japan. Nagi tells him, sure, and that he is right, but before that, he scratches his nose and asks if there are any bandages here, telling Kira that this nosebleed is rough. Kira looks a bit shocked at first, but tells him that he thinks so. Shindo, behind them, tells Nagi that he knew that he would make it, telling him that he is not the type who would get stopped here, explaining that he is a dangerous guy. Clearly, his read on him was spot on. We then see Mizuki putting on the bandages on Nagi, while Nagi looks annoyingly at Shindu. He tells him to be silent and calls him a silver-tongued jerk. He tells him that he talks like he knows everything, and he really hates that. Shindu then just tries to laugh it off and then apologizes, but says that the bandage suits him and that the rugged look really works for him. Mizuki then, on the side, explains that he is such a good talker, but also an ass. After that, the door opens again, and the text says that Blue Lock Side B's first stage birdcage is complete. The 6 members of Team 1 have been determined. We then see that it's Shindu, Kira, Mizuki, Nagi, someone called Ringopon, and also Nishioka. And guys, this is what I have been talking about. This is the time for all of us. He has finally gotten his, I don't even know, but like, 4th chance to finally show himself. And I'm not delusional when I say that this is his chance to finally show off and go insane. Nishioka is going to absolutely destroy this Side B, and then join back with the Blue Lock boys, and then even triumph over both Rin and Isagi, and become the best striker in the team. He very well has the potential for it. It was just such an unfortunate thing that all of the world's 5 players beat him up in the 3rd selection, so that he was out injured throughout the whole story, but now he gets to shine. Now, back to the story, as the commentator once again says that it's time for the 6 of them to proceed to the 2nd stage. We then see Shindu, Kira, and of course Nagi, all of whom look extremely locked in and determined. They of course didn't show Nishioka because he would have too much aura. But with that, we move to the Blue Lock Japan training field, and here we see the Shark Boy Corona, as well as Chigiri playing in full action, and just that might have made this a perfect chapter, seeing both of my favorites in the same panel. Anyway, after that, we move to Aiku, who tells them that it's time for a break. We see Otoya throwing a water bottle to Aryu, and he thanks him. Where's Bachira? Then he starts to act like a dog and asks Otoya to give him one as well. After that, we see Karasu. He asks them to be honest and asks them what they thought of Igo's speech. Bachira is the first, and he says that he guesses that it was just typical Igo. Nico adds on that it was a good reminder that he is out of his mind, which, hey, is really fair enough. After that, we see once again Kurona and Chigiri sitting side by side. Chigiri is the first to speak, and he says that he hears him, explaining that a team where everyone's trying to be the world's best striker doesn't make sense when you think about it, and he thinks that they have all realized that. Karasu then starts to look fierce as he says that he is right, telling them that if they use common sense, then this team is a walking contradiction, so it's kind of miraculous that they got this strong and made it so far. But Aiku adds on that they couldn't beat France, the Kings, saying that it's a reality, and that's why they now need to figure it out for themselves. What Blue Lock actually is, which is very well said, Hiyori tells him, is that it's a good idea. With that in mind, he asks them if they think that they trusted too much in Igo. After that, it feels like we got blessed from the heavens as Kurona, who basically never gets lines, finally gets to speak. He says that they have for sure, explaining that he respects Igo for getting him this far, but he's still a seriously crazy nerd and calls him a freak. Aiku looks intense as he says that, rather than see him as an unerring leader, they should keep him at arm's length as a dangerous guy who teaches them dangerous yet fascinating things. Karasu agrees with that, and that now that they have lost and have a moment to stop, it might be time to go back to square one and ask themselves what sort of world's best dream their egos are chasing here in Blue Lock. Now here I actually think that Karasu kind of cooked. I feel like they themselves have to figure out what it is that they want for them to then move on to the next stage. But then, after that and out of nowhere, we see someone brand new standing behind Kurona. He probably went to Kurona thanks to Kurona's massive and strong aura. Anyway, he holds up his hand and tells Blue Lock that he has a request. He asks them if they could lose the next match. Kurona and Chigiri sounds completely mind-blown, while Raichi asks him who he is. We then move back to the man who apologizes and tells them that he is a worthless bungler player for their next opponent, England, introducing himself as Teddy Knight. Nanas looks amazed that he calls himself a worthless bungler, but I have no idea what a bungler even is. We then see Bachira, who laughs and asks what is up with that guy. Teddy then says that he is counting on them to throw the match. Nanas then right away gets up to him and says that they never agreed to that. Aiku then goes and pats him on his shoulder. He tells him that he is a funny guy, but that they can't honor that request. He tells Teddy that he has no idea what sort of scheme he had in mind when he came here to say that. But they have got a lot riding on this too. Teddy starts to look sad as he asks if they can't. After that, he calls it a bother and starts to ask himself what to do. After that, he says something interesting. He says that Fox told him to come here, but asks what he was supposed to do if this happened. But who in the world is Fox? I don't want to say too much, but could that possibly be another new generation 11? Or just the captain, maybe? Anyway, back to Teddy, who remembers what he should do. He then, no joke, kicks the ball right in Bachira's face as he says that he needs to kill him. Now I really did like Teddy, but why did he have to kick Bachira? This obviously gets them all mad. But Teddy says that if he can make it clear that they can't beat him, will they give up and lose for them? Aiku then looks pissed and asks him what he did to their precious monster. Teddy just calls it a violation before he then, no joke, breaks the ankles of Nico, Aryu, and Aiku. Yeah, our defense is just cooked for the next game. Aiku can't believe it, and Aryu says that he is so fast. Nico wonders if he is a dribbler. Meanwhile, Bachira is holding his face and calls him an egoist. However, Teddy, who now has an aura around him, says that he doesn't have an ego, instead explaining that he is a puppet and a worthless puppet at that. We then learn that he's a new generation 11 and also a wingback, so not a winger, which we got told yesterday, but that makes me so happy. I wanted to say in this video that we had gotten way too many attackers, but a wingback is awesome. Personally, his playstyle from these 2 seconds we got gives me kind of a Kyle Walker kind of vibe with him being super fast and all of that. But to be honest, he actually is pretty cool, and I kind of like him. However, I hate that he seems to have one of these boring personalities as well. Like all of the new generation 11s that we have gotten have been so lifeless and kind of boring. Like, Hugo was just looking dead the whole France game. But anyway, this was a super amazing chapter, and I think straight up that it has to be a 10 out of 10 chapter for me. But let me know down in the comments what you would give it, but also what you thought about Teddy and his character. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like. Also, if you can, hype the video down below, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.